I think we can all agree with this. Oklahoma mishandled the Joe Mixon case. Now we've heard, everybody's talked about this by now. Oklahoma running back Joe Mixon, he told police back in 2014 that it felt like a dude hit me, end quote. That's when Amelia Motor slapped him across the face, and then he punched her as a reaction to that, according to the video, which you have seen by now. If you haven't, it's very graphic. It's a terrible thing that happened, and the whole thing with this was handled completely wrong, of course, by Joe Mixon, by the woman Amelia, and the University of Oklahoma, Bob Stoops. Now everybody's saying, well, he was suspended. He redshirted that year, so technically that's not a big suspension. It's not like he missed anything. He still had his eligibility. He gained, he still had years of eligibility. He didn't lose anything, just redshirted. So with that, and he goes down and says in the video that Mixon told police that he heard a racial slur from one of Amelia's male friend, but not from Amelia. And then Mixon admitted that he responded with an anti-gay slur at that male friend. And of course, on Friday, Mixon's attorneys released 2 surveillance videos that showed the punch, which fractured 4 bones in her face. Mixon was charged with a misdemeanor at the time. And of course, the university suspended him for the entire 2014 season, in which he still redshirted. Here's my issue. Here's my issue with the whole thing. If I'm an athletic director, if I'm a head coach, if I'm Bob Stoops, I don't want Mixon on my team. Suspending him for a year, him redshirting, that does nothing. And it does absolutely nothing. You are still allowing this to be at your university. I don't want this associated with my university. When this video went public, there's nothing Oklahoma can do now. Bob Stoops cannot suspend Joe Mixon for the upcoming bowl game against Auburn. I know there's people wanting that, calling for that on Twitter. It's not going to happen. It happened 2 years ago. Doesn't make it any less. But this was mishandled completely all the way through. He should not have been allowed with the team, period. Should have been kicked off of school, kicked out of the university, and done with. Let him transfer somewhere else. What type of example are you setting that, hey, all right, you fractured a bone, 4 bones in a woman's, you punched her across the face, you weren't drunk, and we're just going to suspend you. Oh, and by the way, you can redshirt that year as well, so that way you don't lose a year of eligibility. What does that say? What does that say about your culture that you have at Oklahoma right now? That you're allowing this to happen. Bob Stoops usually can make some great decisions. This one, he screwed up completely all the way through. So both the athletic director at Oklahoma and the university itself to allow this to happen, especially with everything that's happened that we've seen, especially just down south of Oklahoma at Baylor with the sexual assault cases, players getting kicked off. This should have not been allowed. Mixon should have been gone. Mixon completely should have been gone. Now he, of course, issued an apology. He knew the video was going to come out. He apologized again. And there's already reports. He's a third-year sophomore. So he's a redshirt sophomore. So therefore, being 3 years in college, he is eligible for the 2017 NFL draft. And he's thinking about going. But multiple reports have talked to general managers, assistant draft scouts. They have all said, one report said, quote, general managers around the league have told those close to Oklahoma junior running back Joe Mixon that he will not get drafted if he declares for the 2017 NFL draft. Nobody's going to touch him. And I can see this. He was already projected around the third to fifth round as a draft pick. That right there, especially with a heavy draft class, should already think maybe I should stay anyways. But this right here, the NFL is not going to touch this. Everyone is watching the NFL when it comes to assaults, especially something like this. We've seen what happened with the Ray Rice situation. Hasn't played since. Do you think a team's going to take a chance on this? I don't care that it happened 2 years ago. The report goes on to say that Mixon might not even be signed as a free agent and could be overlooked by the NFL Combine. Many view Mixon's only option is to return to Oklahoma for one more season in hopes of changing everything, changing his current reputation right now, which is still going to be is going to be difficult. This is going to carry him all the way through, no matter whether he stays one more year, he stays 2 more years. I just believe Oklahoma mishandled this case completely wrong. And just imagine the press right now that Oklahoma would have had this year they've been in the college football playoffs. With all the media that surrounds the playoffs already, and this on top of it, would not have been good. Whole problem is Oklahoma mishandled this situation. Joe Mixon, it's just all bad.